The Republican National Committee confirms President Trump will go to Jacksonville, Florida to accept the party's nomination for re-election. That means skipping the GOP convention in Charlotte, where North Carolina's coronavirus restrictions will limit the size of the crowd. Nikole Killion is in Bridgewater, New Jersey, near the golf club, where the president is spending the weekend. Nikole, he's being criticized over next Friday's rally. Explain why.
Well, Vlad, some African-American lawmakers object to holding this rally on Juneteenth, which is an annual celebration to commemorate the end of slavery. They also object to the location in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where hundreds of blacks were massacred by white mobs nearly a century ago. In response to the backlash, the Trump campaign says the president has, quote, built a record of success for black Americans. This as he defends one of his most controversial tweets.
More than 8 minutes of horror. That's 8 minutes really of horror. It's a disgrace.
In his first interview since George Floyd's death, President Trump condemned the incident, but he stood by law enforcement and defended his now controversial tweet in which he threatened the use of the military in Minnesota and said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts.
It means two things, very different things. One is if there's looting, there's probably going to be shooting, and that's not as a threat, that's really just a fact, because that's what happens. And the other is if there's looting, there's going to be shooting. And it's also used as a threat. It's used both ways.
In Dallas, at a roundtable on race and policing, the president said he's finalizing an executive order related to the use of force and doubled down on dominating the streets.
We're doing it with compassion. If you think about it, we're dominating the street with compassion because we're saving lives and we're saving businesses.
The White House did not invite the county's top 3 law enforcement officials, including Dallas County Sheriff Marion Brown.
When you initiate a conversation and you purport that conversation to be about racism and policing in America, and you fail to include the top 3 law enforcement officials in an area where you are speaking, I think that says a lot, and that causes one to raise the brow.
This all on the heels of a stunning apology from the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, who said he regretted taking part in President Trump's photo op in front of St. John's Church last week.
As a commissioned uniformed officer, it was a mistake that I have learned from.
Milley was so upset about the day's events when peaceful protesters were forcibly cleared from Lafayette Square that he even considered resigning.
I should not have been there. My presence in that moment and in that environment created a perception of the military involved in domestic politics.
Late last night, Defense Secretary Mark Esper announced a review of the National Guard's response to the recent civil unrest. He said it will address a range of issues, including training and deployment. Tomorrow, the president will speak at the graduation for the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Gail?
Nikole,